All right, so you want the inside scoop on Microsoft stock?
You got it.
You sent us a ton of info on it, financial reports, earnings transcripts, analyst ratings, news articles, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And you want to know if it's a good investment right now? Should you buy, sell, or hold?
Right.
Well, consider us your financial Sherlocks because we're going to deep dive into all of it to help you out.
I like that.
So let's start with the evidence. Microsoft just released their Q2 FY25 earnings report. And wow, those numbers were pretty eye-catching.
Yeah, they were.
$69.6 billion in revenue, up 12% from last year.
Uh-huh.
Diluted earnings per share hit $3.23, a 10% increase.
Yeah.
Those are some impressive figures.
Impressive, but they only tell part of the story.
Okay, so what's the rest of the story then?
What's really interesting is the breakdown. Microsoft's cloud revenue specifically went over $40 billion for the first time ever.
Okay, that's awesome, but why is that so important?
So think of it like this. Microsoft is building what we call a wide economic moat around its business.
Okay.
They've got a really strong position in operating systems with Windows and productivity software with Office 365.
Right.
But now they're really making their mark in the cloud market with Azure.
Uh-huh.
And this moat makes it really hard for competitors to like step on their toes, and it gives them a big advantage.
And a wider moat means safer waters for investors.
Exactly. It makes things more stable, and a lot of investors, especially in the tech industry, find that very attractive.
Okay, I get it. Wider moat equals good for investors.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about AI. Everyone's talking about it.
Right.
Microsoft's AI business is blowing up. We're talking 175% growth year over year.
It's unbelievable, right?
It is unbelievable.
A lot of that is from Azure AI Services and Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually exceeding their own expectations internally.
Really?
And it's not just about getting new customers either. It's about their existing customers using their AI tools more and more.
That makes a lot of sense.
It shows that people are really liking what they see, and they have confidence in Microsoft's AI stuff.
Okay, so cloud revenue, strong AI is on fire.
Yeah.
It almost sounds too good to be true.
Well,
So what's the catch? What are we missing here?
no company is perfect, and there are always challenges.
Sure.
One thing that stood out from the earnings transcript was what they called go-to-market execution challenges.
Yeah.
And this is mostly within Azure's non-AI services.
Now, I got to admit, go-to-market execution challenges sounds a little bit like corporate jargon to me.
Yeah, it does.
Could you break that down for us and tell us why investors should care?
Basically, it means they're having some trouble selling and delivering their products.
Hmm.
So imagine you've created this amazing software, but you can't really explain how good it is to people, or you're having problems getting it to them.
Yeah.
That's a go-to-market challenge.
Okay.
And specifically for Microsoft, they're having a bit of a tough time with their indirect sales channels, especially for non-AI things on Azure.
Okay.
It seems like they're still trying to find that sweet spot between managing the crazy growth of their AI stuff and making sure they're still there for clients who are just now moving to the cloud in general.
So it's like a balancing act.
Right.
They believe in Azure in the long run.
Oh, yeah.
But this little hiccup with their sales strategy could impact how they do in the second half of this fiscal year.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Now, I also saw some stuff about LinkedIn not doing so well and Windows Server 2025 launch purchases being lower than expected.
Uh-huh.
Are these just like random things happening, or could they be signs of a bigger problem?
That's a great question. And it's the kind of thing we really need to dig into.
Yeah.
Well, it's too early to say for sure. These things could show that customers are changing their priorities,
Yeah.
or that Microsoft's facing some market-specific challenges it needs to deal with.
Okay.
Remember, the tech world is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And even giants like Microsoft need to adapt to stay on top.
Absolutely. Speaking of adapting, we got to talk about DeepSeek.
DeepSeek.
This AI company's been making headlines with its crazy growth.
Yeah.
And of course, its partnership with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Right. DeepSeek's rise has been super impressive. They've managed to gain so much traction in such a short time.
Absolutely.
And working with Microsoft, integrating their AI model onto Azure has definitely helped them a lot.
Sure.
But some of the articles you sent talked about how investors are a bit worried about DeepSeek, especially about how they get their data and the possibility of them facing regulatory scrutiny.
Right.
Some analysts even think that DeepSeek's success could hurt other AI players like NVIDIA.
That's definitely a possibility.
So it's like DeepSeek's aggressive approach has made some people nervous.
It has.
And the rules and regulations around AI are still being figured out.
Yeah.
So all this uncertainty around DeepSeek adds another layer of complexity to everything.
Definitely.
So we've got this exciting growth story, but also some potential roadblocks.
Mm-hmm.
What's Wall Street saying? What are the analysts thinking?
Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, actually.
Oh.
We've got some analysts who are pretty optimistic, like Wedbush. They think Microsoft could reach $600 a share. But then you've got others like D.A. Davidson who are a bit more cautious, setting their target at $425.
Okay, so a pretty big difference there.
Yeah.
But what's the average price target telling us? Is Microsoft overvalued, undervalued, or what?
When you look at the average from recent months, it seems like it might be slightly undervalued.
Interesting.
But it's super important to remember that analyst opinions are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
They can give you a sense of how the market's feeling, but you got to do your own research too.
Absolutely. So it's not just about following the crowd.
Yeah.
It's about understanding what's driving the numbers, what's behind them.
Exactly.
So let's shift gears and look at Microsoft's future. What are the long-term trends that could really make or break them?
Well, right now there are two huge forces shaping the tech world: cloud computing and AI.
True.
And the good news for Microsoft is they seem to be in a great spot to take advantage of both.
Yeah, we've already talked about how strong they are in the cloud market with Azure. But their partnership with OpenAI seems to be a key part of their AI strategy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about that relationship?
It's a really interesting partnership. OpenAI gets to use Microsoft's massive computing power and resources through Azure, so they can build and train their cutting-edge AI models.
Okay.
And in return, Microsoft gets to incorporate those AI technologies into their products and services, which gives them a real edge.
Sounds like a pretty sweet deal for both of them.
It is.
But there were some rumors going around about changes to their funding agreement, even some speculation that maybe Microsoft was losing faith in OpenAI.
Right.
What's the real story there?
Yeah, there were definitely headlines about Microsoft maybe cutting back their investment in OpenAI.
Yeah.
But if you look closely at what they said in the earnings call, this shift in funding for OpenAI's future training capital expenditures,
Okay.
it looks more like they're just being strategic with their resources rather than losing confidence. They're basically creating what they call a fungible fleet, which means they're making their resources more flexible, so they can both develop new AI models and use those models to provide services to customers.
So not a red flag, more like a yellow flag, something to keep an eye on but not freak out about.
Yeah, exactly.
Now let's talk about the competition.
Yeah.
Microsoft isn't the only one playing in the AI world.
No, they're not.
You've got Amazon with AWS, Google Cloud, and of course the up-and-coming DeepSeek.
Right.
All fighting for the top spot.
It's in up out there.
It is. So where does Microsoft fit into all of this? What are their biggest strengths?
I think Microsoft's greatest strength is its huge customer base, especially in the business world, and the way they've integrated their products and services.
Yeah.
They've got Windows Office 365, Azure, LinkedIn, Xbox.
They do have a lot.
It's this whole ecosystem that lets them offer a really complete set of solutions for all sorts of business needs.
So it's not just about individual products. It's about building this interconnected world that businesses depend on.
Exactly. And that's a huge advantage.
It is.
Yeah.
But even superheroes have their weaknesses.
Right.
What are some of the risks that could really hurt Microsoft?
Well, competition is fierce, as we said, and cloud and AI are changing so fast.
Yeah, they are.
Microsoft has to keep putting money into research and development, finding the best people, and making smart partnerships to stay ahead.
Makes sense.
And we can't forget about all the regulations, especially with AI.
That's true.
Governments all over the world are trying to figure out how to handle the ethical and social impacts of AI.
Right.
And it's hard to say how those rules might affect Microsoft's business.
Yeah, that's a big unknown.
So navigating those regulations is going to be really important for Microsoft.
For sure.
They need to be proactive, transparent, and responsible with their AI if they want to build trust and avoid problems down the road.
So they've got a ton of opportunity, but a lot of challenges too. It all comes down to how well they execute.
Exactly. They need to fix those go-to-market execution challenges we talked about. Make sure AI is seamlessly integrated across all their products.
Right.
And carefully manage the risks that come with their partnerships, like the one with DeepSeek.
And what about those whispers we heard about LinkedIn's underperformance and the Windows Server launch?
Right.
Could those be early warning signs?
They could be. So investors really need to pay attention.
Yeah.
Are they just isolated hiccups? Or are they symptoms of a bigger problem?
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've looked at the financials, the competition, the risks.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But before we wrap things up,
Uh-huh.
the big question is Microsoft stock a buy, sell, or hold?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is the moment of truth. We've examined all the evidence, weighed the pros and cons, and now it's time for the verdict.
Right.
Is Microsoft stock a buy, a sell, or a hold?
Well, I gotta say, it's important to remember that we're not giving financial advice here.
Right.
This is about helping you make your own informed decision based on your own goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. We're not in the business of telling people what to do with their money.
No.
We're here to give you the knowledge and insights you need to make smart choices for yourself.
Exactly.
So based on our deep dive into all this data,
Mm-hmm.
what's the bottom line on Microsoft?
From everything we've seen, Microsoft has a lot going for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're leaders in the cloud and AI. They've got a history of innovation, a huge global reach, and Satya Nadella is a great leader.
Yeah, he's definitely a visionary.
Those are all big pluses.
They are, but we can't forget about the challenges either.
Right.
The competition is fierceness. Things are changing all the time, and then there are those go-to-market execution challenges within Azure.
Yeah, those are definitely things to consider.
So investing in Microsoft isn't without its risks.
No, investment is.
The key is to balance the potential rewards with the potential downsides. So if you're someone who's in it for the long haul and okay with a little risk,
Yeah,
you might see these challenges as a chance to buy Microsoft stock at a lower price.
right.
Their strong position in cloud computing and AI could pay off big time down the road.
It could.
But if you're more cautious or looking for short-term gains,
Uh-huh.
Microsoft might not be the best fit right now.
Yeah.
The tech world can be unpredictable, and those near-term challenges could cause some ups and downs.
It's true.
Ultimately, it comes down to your personal situation and your comfort level with risk.
Exactly.
But no matter what kind of investor you are, it's crucial to stay informed and keep learning.
Absolutely.
The tech landscape is constantly shifting, so you got to stay ahead of the game to make smart decisions.
For sure.
And speaking of staying ahead of the game, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon.
Yes.
We'll be back with more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics, helping you navigate the world of investing and beyond.
That's right. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to reach your financial goals.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
That's what it's all about.